Bill Gates tried reaching you 5 times, and Elon Musk is waiting on the other end of a question that only you can answer. Are you finally ready to step into who you were meant to become? Because if 2 of the most influential people on the planet were trying to get your attention, the real message wouldn't be about them. It would be about you, about the potential they see in someone bold enough to listen, awake enough to act, and courageous enough to stop postponing their real life. Imagine your phone buzzing, your inbox filling, your attention being pulled again and again in a world full of noise, distractions, routines, and expectations, yet somewhere in that chaos lies a signal meant only for you. A message that says, "You've spent enough time doubting, thinking small, comparing yourself, shrinking yourself to fit into the comfortable spaces you've already outgrown. You've wasted enough mornings delaying, enough afternoons procrastinating, enough nights telling yourself you'll start tomorrow." Gates doesn't call someone 5 times unless there's something significant, something transformative, something that cannot be postponed without losing momentum. Musk doesn't wait for just anyone unless the timing is critical and the mission is bigger than convenience. This whole story is symbolic. It's not about billionaires calling you, it's about destiny calling you. And destiny rarely knocks politely. It comes with urgency. It comes with insistence. It comes with the unmistakable realization that the chapter you're in is no longer where you belong. There's a moment in every person's life when they feel an impulse, a feeling that life is trying to signal them, push them, shake them awake. Many people ignore it. They delay. They avoid. They pretend they didn't feel it. They bury it under responsibilities, fears, routines, and the comfort of the predictable. But the ones who break through, the ones who create impact, the ones who change their direction and alter the landscape of their entire existence, they're the ones who answer that call the moment it arrives. They don't wait for the perfect time because they know the perfect time is a myth. An illusion that keeps people trapped in preparation instead of participation. The message that says Bill Gates tried reaching you is really the reminder that an extraordinary opportunity doesn't show up repeatedly unless it's meant for you. The question is whether you are brave enough to pick up, to open, to listen, to rise, and maybe you think you're not ready. Maybe you think you need more experience, more knowledge, more money, more confidence, more certainty. Maybe you think people like Gates and Musk are born different, born special, born with some rare spark that ordinary people don't have. But the truth, the real truth, is they were once where you are now, at the beginning. Unsure, unknown, unproven. There was a time when Bill Gates was just a teenager in a garage writing code no one cared about. There was a time when Elon Musk was just a kid in South Africa reading books, dreaming of rockets and electric cars while everyone around him thought he was unrealistic. There was a time when no one believed in them except themselves. And what separated them from the millions of others who also dream? One thing: they answered the call. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't ask if they were worthy. They didn't hesitate when opportunity knocked. They acted with the belief that the future belongs to those who shape it, not those who wait politely for it. So ask yourself, what is the call you've been ignoring? What is the idea, the dream, the ambition you've buried because you thought it wasn't practical or possible or convenient? What project have you postponed for years? What talent have you locked away because you were afraid of being judged or failing or starting from zero? What message have you been sending to yourself every day, one that says you want more, deserve more, are capable of more, but you keep muting it because you're scared of the responsibility that comes with potential? Maybe you've been trying to convince yourself that life will change someday on its own, that success will arrive when you're magically prepared, that an opportunity will fall into your hands without requiring sacrifice or discomfort. But deep down you know that nothing meaningful comes without movement. Nothing transforms without effort. Nothing changes until you change. Imagine Gates calling you 5 times, not because he needs anything from you, but because he sees a spark in you that you've forgotten to see in yourself. Imagine Elon Musk waiting, not because you're already extraordinary, but because he recognizes that you carry the seeds of something extraordinary inside you. They represent the world's greatest innovators, and innovation always starts in the mind of someone who dares to believe they can do something that others call impossible. What if the universe is trying to send you a similar message? What if repeated signs, repeated thoughts, repeated ideas you keep revisiting are not coincidences, but reminders? What if the opportunities that keep showing up in your life are not random, but invitations? And what if you have reached the exact moment in your life when the only thing standing between you and the future you want is the hesitation you've grown used to? Think of the people who changed their lives with a single yes. A single decision. A single moment of courage. Every book that became a phenomenon, every company that reshaped industries, every movement that changed societies, each began with a single human being deciding that their dream mattered enough to fight for. You are not excluded from that possibility. You are not exempt from greatness. You are not disqualified by your past, your mistakes, your circumstances, or your fears. You are one decision away from a completely different life. That's the message hidden in this idea of Gates calling you 5 times. The world is trying to reach you. Opportunity is trying to reach you. Growth is trying to reach you. A new version of yourself, stronger, clearer, braver, more capable, is trying to reach you. And you've ignored the call long enough. Life doesn't wait forever. Momentum fades. Windows close. Every time you postpone your potential, you lose a piece of your future. But every time you act, no matter how small the step, no matter how uncertain you feel, you move closer to the life you imagine. Maybe you think the distance between where you are and where you want to be is too vast. But every master was once a beginner. Every CEO was once unemployed, or confused, or wandering. Every visionary once started with nothing but belief. And belief is something you already have, or you wouldn't be reading this. Something inside you is stirring. Something inside you is restless. Something inside you is dissatisfied with the limitations you've accepted and the comfort zone you've settled into. Stop telling yourself you need more time. Stop telling yourself you need someone else's approval. Stop waiting for a sign louder than the ones you've already received. If Gates tried reaching you 5 times, that's more than enough. If Musk is waiting, that's more than enough. If your life is calling you to rise, that is more than enough. The only thing left is for you to answer, and when you do, when you finally make that decision, when you finally say yes to yourself, the world will shift in ways you cannot imagine. You'll begin to meet people who match your ambition. You'll begin to attract opportunities that align with your courage. You'll begin to feel momentum building, confidence rising, life responding. Because life always responds to those who step forward. The universe expands for those who stop shrinking themselves. The path appears for those who walk. Not those who wait. This is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. The message is clear, the call is urgent, and the opportunity is real. Bill Gates tried reaching you 5 times because your potential is too great to ignore. Elon Musk is waiting because the future needs people who dare to act. And your life is asking you the question it has been asking for years. You may not realize it yet, but every moment of hesitation you've lived through has been shaping you for this exact turning point. All the times you doubted yourself, all the setbacks that frustrated you, all the dreams you thought were too big for someone like you, they were not signs to quit, but quiet training grounds. Life often prepares you in disguise. It tests you in silence. It molds you in moments when you think nothing is happening. But growth is rarely loud. Transformation is rarely obvious. Your entire past, every failure, every lesson, every disappointment, has been constructing a stronger, wiser version of you. A version capable of answering the call you once felt unqualified for. And now that the message has reached you again, more urgent than ever, the only question is whether you will trust the version of you that life has been slowly building. People often believe greatness requires perfect timing, but greatness only requires willingness. You don't need the right moment, you need the right mindset. The truth is, the call you've been receiving isn't about what you already have, skills, money, support, fame, it's about what you're willing to become. Bill Gates didn't start with perfection, he started with an idea and the courage to pursue it relentlessly. Elon Musk didn't start with certainty, he acted despite the enormous possibility of failure. Every great figure stepped into their potential imperfectly. Yet repeatedly. They chose action over hesitation, progress over perfection, possibility over fear. You can do the same. You don't have to be ready. You just have to be willing, and maybe that's the real reason this call keeps coming back to you. Not because you're expected to be perfect or fearless or flawless. But because life knows something about you that you've forgotten, you have endured more than you give yourself credit for. You've survived moments that could have broken you. You've stood up after experiences that could have kept you down. You've pushed through days when you had nothing left but a tiny thread of hope. And even on the days you felt lost, uncertain, or overwhelmed, something inside you refused to quit. That resilience is not accidental. It is the mark of someone meant for more. Someone who can handle the responsibility of growth. Someone who can carry the weight of potential without collapsing under it. The world doesn't call on those who are weak, it calls on those who are ready to evolve. If gates kept trying to reach you, it's because the message you're meant to receive carries power. If Musk is waiting, it's because the opportunity ahead is significant. It doesn't matter whether the world believes in you yet, what matters is whether you're willing to believe in yourself. The biggest breakthroughs in life are created by ordinary people who decide not to remain ordinary. They make bold choices. They start things they don't know how to finish but trust they will figure out along the way. They walk forward even when the path isn't fully visible. That's how destinies are built, not through certainty, but through courage. Think about the person you want to be a year from now. Think about what they have, how they think, how they act. They're not waiting. They're not hesitating. They're not doubting their worth or potential. They're acting with the clarity of someone who understands that direction matters more than speed, that effort matters more than perfection, and that trying is infinitely more valuable than overthinking. If you could see the future version of yourself cheering you on, urging you to take the next step, you would realize something profound. You are much closer to your breakthrough than you think. Life has a mysterious way of repeating the same message until you finally listen. Maybe this is why you keep returning to these thoughts. Why certain dreams refuse to fade. Why your heart whispers the same desires again and again. That is your internal compass trying to guide you toward the life you're meant to live. Ignore it long enough and you'll feel restless. Listen to it, and doors you never imagined will begin to open. You don't need all the answers right now. You just need enough courage for the next step, enough belief to begin, enough determination to refuse to settle for a version of life that doesn't fulfill you. This is the moment where things shift. Not because the world suddenly changes, but because you do. Because you decide that your voice matters, your dreams matter, your future matters. Because you stop running from your potential and finally turn toward it with open eyes and steady hands. Because you choose to stop living as a spectator in your own story and start becoming the author. The call that keeps coming isn't a coincidence. It's a reminder. A signal. A spark. It's the universe asking if you're done hiding. It's opportunity asking if you're done waiting. It's destiny asking if you're done doubting. Because deep down, you already know the truth. You're capable of more than you've allowed yourself to pursue. And once you accept that truth, everything changes. And now we arrive at the moment that matters most, the moment where you stop listening to these words and start listening to yourself. Because no matter how inspiring the message, no matter how powerful the story, no matter how symbolic the idea of Gates calling you 5 times or Elon Musk waiting for your response, none of it means anything unless something inside you shifts. Unless something clicks. Unless something awakens. Unless you decide that the life you want is worth fighting for. There's a quiet truth people rarely admit: most dreams die not because they are too hard, but because people wait too long to begin. They wait for a sign that feels magical. A guarantee that feels certain, a moment that feels perfect. But the world doesn't reward hesitation. Life does not pause until you gather courage. And opportunities do not stay frozen in front of people who keep delaying their own rise. You have waited long enough. You have doubted long enough. You have underestimated yourself long enough. The person you needed to become is no longer a distant possibility, it's already forming within you. Every step, every lesson, every fall, every victory has led you right here, to the edge of transformation, and maybe that is why the message came repeatedly. Maybe that is why destiny knocked loudly instead of whispering softly. You weren't meant to miss it. You weren't meant to sleep through your moment. You weren't meant to walk past the doorway that was built for you. Sometimes life has to shake you a little, repeat itself, echo its message through different signs, symbols, or stories until you finally stop pretending you don't understand what it's asking of you: to rise. To choose yourself. To step forward even if your legs tremble. To try even if you're scared. To trust even if you can't see the whole path. Greatness does not appear suddenly. It grows inside a person who decides they're done living small. It blooms the moment you stop apologizing for wanting more. It manifests the moment you stop assuming you're unworthy. The reason this call keeps coming is because you are meant for more than survival. You are meant for more than routine. You are meant for more than the version of life you've been tolerating to avoid discomfort. You are meant for impact, for growth, for creation, for purpose. And deep down, you've always known it. Imagine a future where you finally answer the call. Where you finally say yes to the dream you've been postponing. Where you take the first step, and then the second, and then the third, not perfectly, but persistently. Imagine waking up months from now realizing that everything you once feared was smaller than the strength you found along the way. Imagine looking back and realizing that this moment, the moment you chose action over fear, was the beginning of everything. That the path you always searched for was waiting inside your willingness to begin. That the version of life you wanted was hidden behind courage you never tested until now. You don't need permission to rewrite your story. You don't need approval to start becoming who you were always meant to be. The only person who must believe in your potential is you. And the moment you do, the world rearranges itself in ways that seem impossible until they happen. New people appear. New opportunities arise. New doors open. It's not magic, it's alignment. It's what happens when you stop resisting your own destiny. So ask yourself, quietly, honestly, deeply, what if everything up to this moment was preparing you to finally answer? What if the life you want has been calling you again and again because it refuses to give up on you? What if the future you dream about is not a fantasy, but an invitation? The last part of this message is simple, but it carries the weight of everything you've read so far. Pick up the call. Pick up the call from your ambition. Pick up the call from your courage. Pick up the call from the version of yourself who refuses to settle. The world doesn't change when you're ready, it changes when you're willing. And you are willing. You wouldn't be here if you weren't.